As of November, 46,000 people have lost their jobs in the United States as layoffs continue. And with that news, it made me think about how I had to find confidence when I was laid off of a coaching job not too long ago when Facebook and Apple had a little beef when it came to advertisement. And so if you don't know, my name is Douglas Befford, and I am a mindset coach that helps creatives get past any limiting beliefs or self-sabotaging patterns that's stopping them to getting to their goal. But the question now becomes, what happens if external things like a layoff happens and you're stuck in between starting off on your new journey or letting go of your path because all this panic and anxiety comes out? So in this video, we're going to discover ways to get past something like this happening and using it as a launching off point into turning things around, or at least readjusting your perception so that you can use this as an opportunity to springboard your creative passion. So if you are dealing with a layoff, one thing that I had to do was not take it personal. There are a lot of external things that do happen that we don't have control over, but the one thing we do have control over is how we take the world happening to us. There's either two ways we can take the world. Either it's moving through us or it's happening to us. But of course, the problem with someone telling you don't take it personal is you're going to take it personal initially. That's just normal. But then it's what happens afterwards. What are you going to do after the event happens? Either you can dwell or you can push past. Either you're a victim of your circumstance, or you can be the owner of the life that you have, the owner of your future. So if you're going to take it personal in a sense of you're in control of your life, opposed to you're not in control of your situation. Which leads to the second point, staying positive. This kind of piggybacks off the first of not taking things personal. If you can take things and make things positive, then you're going to change your perception of how you view things. Staying positive is the one thing that you actually have control over. So imagine this. If you're in a positive mood and you're talking to someone about your situation, it's going to change the way that conversation would go, opposed to you in a negative mood, which would make the conversation go a different way. What I'm trying to say is that there are opportunities out there, and if you actually have a positive state of mind, you'll be able to see those opportunities come towards you. So in one of my earlier videos, I talked about this book. Hold on one second while I grab it. This book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Max Maltz. And in the book, he talked about how we have this thing called the reticular activating system. And so you can watch the video where I go into full detail about it, but I'll just give you like the quick overview. Our brains can only take in so much data, even though there's so much data out there. And based on what we want to perceive, then that's how we're going to interpret that data. So if you're seeing the world in this negative frame, then you're only going to take in negative sort of data. But if you change the frequency of your brain, I know I'm getting woo-woo here, but stick with me with the metaphor, your frequency of your brain, then you're going to take in the opportunity. You're going to be able to focus on the things that's going to get you towards the goal that you want to achieve. So if you're in this negative state and you focus on negative things, your brain's just going to find negative things. Whereas if you focus on positive things, then your brain's going to look and find positive things. So if you're in that positive mind state, it leads to our third thing of using your time wisely. I don't know if you ever looked back on a moment in time where you've had gaps and you might have been in a negative mind state and then some external thing happened and everything worked out. And you say to yourself, man, I just wish that I used that time better, that I focused on something that I wanted to do. I work with people that are in the transition of moving towards their creativity, using their creativity to start a business, using their creativity to launch their vision. And when you have a job, when you're trying to do so many things at once, when something's your side hustle and something's your focus, such as your creative passion, which is usually your side hustle, you don't have enough bandwidth to actually get it off the ground. So sometimes if you just change the perception of something happened to you, such as a layoff, as a positive thing, then possibly you can use that time effectively to then launch something, or at least put things in the right order. So when you do start a job or a business does take off, that you used your time to focus on the positive things that you have ahead of you. So being able to use that time effectively, because what's the alternative? You get a job in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or even maybe 2 months from now, and then your bandwidth is taken up, and now your focus is on working for somebody else, and your side hustle is now being pushed further and further away. Whereas you're going to wish you had that time to then focus on the thing that you wanted to actually create. Which leads to the next tip of finding a support group. So you could find two types of support groups. One, a support group that you can kind of just dwell on the things that happen to you, and that can help you just get past those emotions. Or you can find a support group that is about the thing that you want to create. Because again, you have all this time available. If you're able to be around people that are changing your perception, changing your vibe, changing your energy, then you're going to have new ways of being able to focus on your future that you want to create immediately, especially if you start working with people that are already at where you want to be. So what do I mean by that? There are plenty of places where you can find groups of people that are focused in on the thing that you want to create. So you can go online on Facebook groups, apps like Clubhouse. I know some people still go on Clubhouse. If you're following an influencer, going onto their Instagram and just seeing the type of people that are posting on their page, listening to podcasts, depending on what your savings is like, investing in yourself, going to events, just betting on yourself. I know it sounds scary, but you have to take this opportunity as a way to pivot, as a blessing, as a way to move forward towards the life that you actually want to create. Because even though you may be laid off right now, you have a skill, which I'm going to get into, that has a value. And either you can focus on working for somebody else or refocusing your attention on maybe it's time to do something for you. So being able to surround yourself with people that have that same sort of mindset is going to change the way that you're going to pursue the things that you actually care about. Which leads to the last point that I alluded to, focusing on your skill. So if you've been working for somebody or for a company for X amount of years, there's a particular skill that you have. Now that skill has value. And if you can find a way to then reframe that skill as a way to solve a problem for a group of people, then you can create your own creative business around that skill. So sometimes it's hard to move from that employee mindset to entrepreneur to owner mindset. There's all these things that you're responsible for. So I was listening to a podcast where this guy was talking about either you can have security or you can have freedom, but you can't have both. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by that? And the thing is, when you want security, you have to give up your freedom. And when you work for somebody else, while it may feel secure, you don't have the freedom to live the life that you want to have, because it could just be taken away from you, especially if you're dealing with something like being laid off. And if you're truly free first, then you can then create security around your freedom. Meaning, when you first find freedom, there's uncertainty towards that. But through that uncertainty is your opportunity. If you're laid off right now, you are feeling uncertain. But in that, you can create something. You have to quiet your mind. You have to focus on being positive. You have to see the future that you want to create, and then you have to be relentless in creating it. So going through the steps that I mentioned of not taking things personal, staying positive, using your time wisely, finding support groups, and focusing on your skill, following things in that order, at least checking off those boxes, it's going to allow you to refocus this time that you're at in this uncertainty and create something that could be positive, that can totally change your life. And so I'll leave you with that. Know that you're in control of your life. And if external things do happen, take it as a way of refocusing your attention on doing the thing that you were meant to do, create. So my name is Douglas Bedford, and I appreciate your time today. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell. If you want some other resources, just check out the description below. I put a lot of fun things in there. I look forward to talking to you soon, and until next time.